Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome back to our channel once again. And it is my hope and prayer that this video is going to find you guys in good health. Personally, I am fine. As you can see, Kisumu is fantastic. And maybe you could also let me know where you're watching the video from, the county or the country, in case you are out of the republic. Ladies and gentlemen, Dennis Itumbi, who is one of William Ruto's closest political allies, yesterday made some post on his official Facebook page. In that post, Dennis Itumbi was responding to James Gakuya, one of Rigathi Gachagwa's allies, who had accused him of being used by the president to fight Rigathi Gachagua.
If things are being crafted and are crafted to discredit you and create your failure, because the situation as it is, it's obvious that the young turks of Dede Nyoro and the team of Itumbi and the team like Mwangi Kiunjuri, these are young turks that are actually being spent to spoil the image of Gachagua from his homeyard.
I've gone through that post and I'm convinced that Dennis Itumbi made a blunder and revealed or leaked William Ruto's plans to shortchange or to betray Musalia Mudavadi. Let us go through that post, because in this video, I want to explain to you in details why I strongly believe that the post is basically William Ruto's strategy to lock both Rigathi Gachagua and Musalia Mudavadi out of the presidential race in 2032. This is what Itumbi posted. This is what Itumbi posted. Ndugu Mheshimiwa Gakuya, our call for generational change is not about disregarding the past, but learning and benefiting from mentorship. We cannot be mentored forever, just like you cannot stay in school forever. Remember, the generational change Dennis Itumbi is talking about, especially in the mountain, took place in 2013. The campaign in the mountain in 2013, when Uhuru Kenyatta took over, was about generational change. And that's when young leaders emerged. That's when people like Uhuru became president. Very many young leaders from the mountain. So the generational change is talking about is not confined to the mountain, because as far as I'm concerned, there was a generational change in leadership, both in the mountain and in Rift Valley, when Ruto decided to bring very young people. Someone like the governor for Nandi is a very young guy, by the way. If you look at even the leadership from the Rift Valley, most of them are very young. So in those regions, generational change took place in 2013, 2017, 2022. So Dennis Itumbi is proceeding. Generational change is just a voice of the majority saying, we appreciate those before us for their guidance and achievement, but we have come of age and we are ready to take our position in business, careers, and politics. Which begs the question, how old is Dennis Itumbi, for example, compared to even the member of parliament for Mogotio, compared even to Dindi Nyoro, who is serving his second term, compared even to Gladys Wanga, who is now a governor. So which generational change when their generation are already in leadership? Now, he is proceeding. We are your sons and daughters. We decline the invite to have a tribal conversation. You see what he's now trying to say? They don't want tribal conversation. And I'm going to explain to you guys. Just listen. Like many of my generation, the language I speak has never given me advantage. I therefore decline an invite to discuss Kikuyu supremacy. It proceeds. Ugikuyu benefits a few, and I know you'd rather we keep it there in that small circle so that you continue benefiting. You know I can go to examples that touch on you. But let me avoid that side of things. The truth is that the Kikuyu narrative is a shellfish story. That is why we choose the broader, a generational change. Please continue with the mentorship as you have told us. But no, there must be a graduation. The purpose of lessons and tutorial is so that we graduate. If you study the politics of the mountain, especially in 2017, William Ruto did something there. He controlled the politics, the Jubilee nominations. And William Ruto ensured during that time that most of the established politicians from the mountain were actually locked out of elective positions. People like Kabando Wakambando were kicked out. People like the former governor of Kiambu, William Kabogo, was strong. Several others. So Dennis Itumbi is now trying to bring another narrative, which is generational change. I don't know how old Gakuya is, but I want to assume Gakuya is serving his second or third term. If you go back and figured out his age when he was elected 10 years ago, you realize that he was not really old the way Dennis Itumbi is trying to tell us here. So in this video, I want to reveal to you guys the real intention why William Ruto's allies are now pushing for what they are calling generational change. But before you do that, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click the subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, allow me to dive in. But before I dive in, allow me to also introduce you guys to LemFi. LemFi is a mobile app for users in the UK, in Canada, and the United States of America to send money to Kenya at zero fees. They offer the best exchange rates, and the money can be transferred directly to the bank, Mpesa, or Airtel Money. You can download the app using the link in the pinned comments. You can use my code to also get some discount. Ladies and gentlemen, let us dive in. Why do you think William Ruto's allies are now trying to come up with a new narrative, a narrative of generational change? Why? The intention is to lock out Rigathi Gachagua based on age. Now, let us look at facts as they are. When was Rigathi Gachagua elected as a member of parliament? Rigathi Gachagua only served for one term in parliament, and luckily he became the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. And why do I strongly believe that the intention is clearly to lock out someone like Mudavadi? You can then go back and ask yourself, how old is Musalia Mudavadi, and how long has he been in politics? I want to ask you guys some few questions here. The first question I want to ask you, is William Ruto behind the push for this generational change? If you ask me, William Ruto is clearly behind the push for generational change. Why? You just need to check around the people who are pushing for this generational change. When William Ruto's allies from the Rift Valley decided to go and respond to Rigathi Gachagua in Bomet, their rallying call was about generational change, which means William Ruto is behind it. The second question which I want to ask you, who is being targeted by this generational change? That is the biggest question. For me, the people who are being targeted by this idea of generational change are two. Rigathi Gachagua, because William Ruto wants to do away with him, and of course, Musalia Mudavadi. There are many people who believe that William Ruto is going to support Musalia Mudavadi for the presidency in 2027. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Mark that. There is no way William Ruto will allow someone older than him to become the president. So the Luhya nation should be very well briefed on that matter. They should take it from me. The William Ruto I know and the way he's been operating since he joined politics, William Ruto has strategically been trying to do away with all politicians. You go to Rift Valley, he did that successfully. In the mountain, he did that. In fact, majority of the people William Ruto is supporting politically are people younger than him. So this generational change is targeting also Mudavadi. I want to play for you this clip of William Ruto when he was unveiling Rigathi Gachagua as the deputy president, and listen and watch very closely.
Who were considered in the exercise that has gone on around the running mate issue. And I want to single out very knowledgeable, astute Samson Ndindi Nyoro, who is right here, who the people of Kenya have a lot of liking for because he's forthright, he's intelligent, and he's passionate about the leadership of our country. I want to tell my young brother Ndindi Nyoro, you have a future ahead of you, and we will work with you.
The third question I want to ask you, between Rigathi Gachagua and Musalia Mudavadi, who has been in politics long enough? Because if Dennis Itumbi wants to tell us that in Kenya Kwanza they are pushing for generational change, between Mudavadi and Rigathi, who will be affected the most? Mudavadi. You know why? Mudavadi was first elected as a member of parliament in 1989. Some of the leaders, members of parliament in Kenya Kwanza currently, were not even born by that time. Then you want to tell me that the generational theory is only going to apply to Rigathi Gachagua and not Mudavadi? Forget about it. And there's a reason why William Ruto is now coming up with the new narrative, which gets me to the last question I want to ask you. What is the main intention of this generational change which William Ruto's allies are currently pushing? Number one is Mount Kenya politics. The only way to deal with Mount Kenya politics is to come up with that generational change theory, so that people like Rigathi Gachagua, the fact is majority of people who are supporting Rigathi Gachagua are the older generation. These are the generation who feels that William Ruto has betrayed the community. So they want to come up with a new narrative, so that that narrative can rally, they can use it to rally the community, the younger generation, around the candidature of Ndindi Nyoro. Number two, they are also targeting the Haki coalition, a group of individuals around Uhuru Kenyatta. If you look at those individuals, Martha Karua is old, Kioni is old. Most of those guys are beyond that age. So they believe that unless they come up with another strategy, the people will follow that older generation. Number three is that they want to target the young Kikuyu voters. The truth is, as we speak, the older generation in the Kikuyu nation are not happy. They feel they've been shortchanged because they've been here long enough. They know the history. The younger generation can easily be persuaded to support Ndindi Nyoro and the group in the hope that they'll be part and parcel of that team. And lastly, why William Ruto is pushing for this generational change is because they want to craft a new narrative. The hustler narrative is dead and buried. And since the hustler narrative is dead and buried, now they must come up with another narrative which they can use to bring together the younger people together. Remember, in the last election, they used the hustler narrative and the dynasty. The dynasty was being associated with the problems of that older generation, that, you know, you are poor because the Kenyatta family, blah, blah. That Ruto ni mtu ameuza tu kuku, sasa is someone. So we want you guys to join the train. So they joined the train. That train has failed. Now they want to come up with a new narrative. Young people, join Ruto, join Rigathi Gachagua, join Ruto, join Ndindi Nyoro, and we move together. Will it succeed? For me, the biggest casualty is none other than Musalia Mudavadi. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.